All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushua, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushua, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushua. Call Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors, Pastor Elders, Great Millstone, Root Teach Will. Peace, salutation to all you out in four corners of the earth. Hey, this is Jay Quad from YSO, Yahushua Sanctified Ones, coming to you with a quick lesson, quick video. I just want to go into right quick Revelation 3 and 9, Revelation 2 and 9. I was watching some videos, some quick videos. I'm gonna play this video right quick from this Israelite brother. I think they called the Lord Yahuwah, but that's neither here nor there. The point is what they're talking about, and the point is what this rapper pulls out. But I want to just right quick. I want to hit Revelation 3 and 9. I'm gonna work my way back, and I'm gonna work my way backwards. Okay, so right quick, this is because we're in this world where the so-called white man feel he's superior and he's a superior being, and there's nobody over him, nobody above him, right? That he's the true Jew, and he don't even he calls himself Jewish. If you know what to understand that the prefix of ish means is to be something like, not really, so meaning to be a convert. In other words, I think it was what's his name, Kagan Bullion. I believe they converted. They came out of Russia. The Georgia Russian mountains, the Caucasus Mountains. Or during that time, which we know they're originally from Mount Petra, Mount Seir, but they all had moved around all through history. But they had ended up in the caves of Georgia, Russia, right? And Jake was in Russia before they were ever there, and we ruled during that time, and we put them beside us, and like the scriptures say, know that his rust is not fully wiped away. So never put him in your place, because he'll take over your place. He never, he never really truly love you. You always gotta be mindful of the devil. You cannot sit Satan beside you. Okay, so they call themselves the Jews, and we know that they all, they came down conquering different lands, using trickery and all kind of different methods of evilness and wickedness to take over. So I just want to quick go here. So this is Revelation 3 and 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews. And right now, who say they're Jews, like the Israelites don't say they're Jews. We, to this day, we don't even call ourselves Jews, because we was Yahweh is what we will be, is Judah, right? So we weren't called Jews. We were called, and it wouldn't have been a J, and that's another dead giveaway too, because we didn't use the J. It wasn't in the language, and the J is nothing but the hook on the I that was developed, I think, in the 1500s. Okay, so that's a new letter, new letter that was introduced into the system. So we wouldn't even have used the word Jew anyway. So we would have used Yahweh, okay, for Judah, or if it would have been in a J, it would have been Judah, right? So so we don't use that word like that anyway, and we go by Hebrew Israelites anyway for the most part. And to be a Jew is not the whole basis of our people. The whole basis of our people is Yasharallah, Israel, right? He is the prince of the power, right? Or he, prince power. So yeah, the way we look at it and see it is, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not, Hebrew is my language, and Israelite is my heritage. It's who I am. And Judah, from my understanding from now until the Lord come back, I see myself as a Judite, right? As a what you would call is Yahweh, being I'm a so-called Black American. So yeah, that's what we go by as Israelite. We don't even go. I've never once referred to myself as a. I'm not a Jew. My tribe is Yahweh, and that's Judah, right? So, but I'm an Israelite, right? First, right? I'm Yasharallah. I'm on my forefathers, Yaquab, which we know as Jacob. Okay. So, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jew and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them. I will make them to come and worship before thy feet. So they're gonna bow, right? They're going. The Lord is gonna make all them ish people bow to the feet of the real, true Israelites. Okay, and to know that I have loved thee. Who is the thee? It's the real true Israelites, right? The ones that don't call themselves Jews. Like I said, being a Hebrew Israelite, we call ourselves Israelites. We don't call. I don't. We don't even refer to ourselves as Jews, right? It's only one people in this world that refer to themselves as Jews. Even like I say, coming into the truth, learning who you are, you still don't refer to yourself as a Jew. So somebody asks me, say, "Hey, what are you?" I don't say I'm a Jew. No, I'm an Israelite. I'm from the tribe of Judah. You know, surname is Jaquab. That's the name I go by. In our language. So yeah, no. So we never even becoming to learn that you're Israelite. You still never use the word Jew. Because if you know understand and know the language, you're gonna say Yahweh. So you wouldn't even say Jew anyway. So that's a dead giveaway that the so-called Negroes are definitely the people, and the so-called Ish people, the so-called white people that's who is actually Amalek in the Bible. The little hatters, the little black hat on their head, go around, nasty and filthy. I remember I was out at a resort in Florida, and there's a whole family of the motherfuckers, man, come on, picking their nose, scratching their ass. It's a fucking nasty little fucks, man. So yeah, no, yeah. So we don't even go by that name. We don't refer to ourselves at all. Even when you become an Israelite, I don't know very many Israelites that do refer to themselves as Jewish or Jews. I mean, that's just kind of odd to say it like that, because we understand the way they're supposed to be said. It's meant to be said a certain way. So anyway, so back to the scriptures. If this video cut off, I'm gonna come back and do a part two. This Revelation 2 and 9. Revelation 2 and and 9. I know thy works. No, matter of fact, let me start. This is Revelations, not Revelations. This is Revelation 2 and 2. I know thy works and thy labor, right? And who's been laboring? The Israelites. And thy patience. Who's patient? We are. No other group of people on this earth has been as patient as we have been, especially when you learn that who you are, when you come back to your true heritage. And how thou canst not bear them which are evil, right? Who's evil? Esau, Edom. When you go back to Malachi, they're the border of wickedness. Okay. Which goes back to Amalek, who the Lord will have war with forever. That's why Amalek is in a war forever. He's constantly Amalek has not been in a war since Amalek has been trying to take over the heritage of the Israelites, right? Okay, of our people. So, and thou hast tried them which say they are apostles and are not. And apostles go back to the word sent away. So who was sent away and were not? See, the apostles means to be an apostle is to be sent away. So if you're being sent away, who was sent away? The so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, Seminole Indians, right? Okay. Has tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and has found them liars. All right. So let's jump over here to 2 and 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. Who was that? That's us. That's the Negroes, Latino, Native American, Seminole Indians. Right. We going through hell. We going through poverty. Right. But thou art rich. Well, rich in the spirit of Yahweh Shemal Shah. Rich in the spirit of the Lord, because we are his people. Okay. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews. That's a dead giveaway. Literally, it's talking about one people that's poor, but you're rich, right? You're poor in this world. You're poor to this life, right? But you're rich in the spirit of Yahweh Shemal Shah, right? And then there's those that I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews. That's blasphemy, to call yourself what you are not. We don't, like I say, once again, I'm going to go back to it. I said it earlier. We, as so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, Seminole Indians, that's of the faith, that's of the truth, that's of the knowledge, of Yahweh Bashemal Shai, or just of the knowledge of, they want to call him Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yahweh, whatever they. But those that's of the Hebrew Israelite knowledge that they're Israelite, they still do not refer themselves as Jews. I mean, you refer to yourself as an Israelite, or the other ones say it weird. They say Yahuwah, but they still. I don't know how they say Judah in the way they say it, but Yahweh does for us, right? We go by the Lashawan Kodash, and the other ones go by I think the Assyrian. But however they say it, they the point is, you go ask them and they don't say, well, yeah, no, we're Jews. Like, I'm Yahweh. I'm Yahweh. You know what I mean? Like, I'm Yashala. I'm Israel. You know what I mean? Oh, I guess then you got the other one say that they're Yisrael with the Y. So I don't know. That's the point. They'll say everything, but you're not going to use the letter J, because we all know that the J is false. It's new. It's just a hook on the I, and it was just introduced in the 1500s. So when the Lord was around, the letter J was non-existent. So that couldn't be right anyway. So that's how the scriptures tell you who's a liar and who's for real and who's a liar. Okay. So I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Now Satan's people. Go back to Malachi, the first chapter, right? Who's the border of wickedness? Esau, Edom. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Who rules the earth now today? The so-called white man. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna get through this, but I'm gonna keep trying, because I'll get to talking a lot. But it's just a lot of points that need to be brought up. Verse 10: Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer, and we suffer a lot. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. And this time is coming. We to this day we get cast into prison, and we're already cast into prison. We put them here on this earth. And they shall have tribulation 10 days of a certain amount of time. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Talking to the Israelites, okay? Talking to those Negroes, Latino, Native American, Seminole Indians, those that of the faith, those that understand and know, the 144,000, the hopeful elect, okay? He that have an ear, once again, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Right? And this was talking to the 7 churches of Asia Minor, okay, which are the Israelites, right? And then another thing, let you know that we come from the continent of Asia, okay, right? We all were the Israelites come out of Asia. India. You said, well, Asians? No, Asians are Chinese people. No, you jackass. Learn geography, motherfucker. Look at it. The continent of Asia stretched all the way down to India, fucking Israel. All that shit is in Asia. Okay? All that shit is in Asia. Babylon was in Asia. All that shit is in Asia. Is huge. Okay? It's like the second biggest to so-called Africa, which is Ham land, which is Hamitic land. I mean hot, burnt. And because Africa is a burnt land, it's fucking hot as fuck out there, right? So he that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death, right? And what was the first death? The first death was the flood. What is the second death? And that's that nuclear fire, right? When the scriptures tell you that this war will come in fuel of fire, right? All right, let me get this right here, because I don't want to forget where I was going. All right, so right quick, let me go to Luke 12 and 21. And if I don't get to it, I'm gonna hit 1 Timothy 6 and 18, James 2 and 5. All this, it all correlates, okay? So, but let me hit Luke 21. No, Luke 12 and 21. Let me hit Luke 12.
His truth is white power.
Salakia, hold on. Salakia. I didn't mean to play that. Luke 12 and 21. Well, you know, let me get James 2 and 5 while I'm closer to James 2 and 5 right quick. Then I'm going to hit Luke 12 and 21. All right, this is James 2 and 5. Hearken, my beloved brethren, have not Yahweh Bashim Shai chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom, which he have promised to them that loved him. So the Lord didn't come for the rich of the earth. He came for the poor. He came for the undertrodden, the down, the castaways, right? The misused, the abused, the oppressed, right? Which is the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, Seminole Indians, right? For our people, those that are the bottom, okay? But you are the richest. You just don't know it because you've been so subjected and so oppressed to feeling lesser than, to feeling less superior than other nations. When the Lord told you are the greatest nation upon all the nations of the earth, okay? Say okay, right here, and it go. Let me tell you this here. But ye have despised the poor. Esau, Edom has despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seat? Exactly. When you go back to Psalms the 50, right? They're blaming us for all. Look at what we're doing. You know, Lord, like, hey, look, you shouldn't have took this in your mouth because you ain't even my people. What the fuck you doing right here? You know, next to me? Get the fuck out my face, right? Do not they blaspheme that worthy name by the which ye are called? See, they blaspheme that name that which we are called. What's the name they blaspheme? Jew. We're not called a Jew, we're Israel, Yasharallah. That Jew really stands for Judah, which goes back to Yahweh. Okay? Through the pure tongue, the holy tongue, the Lashwan Kodash, right? The ancient Paleo Hebrew, the ancient tongue. Let's put it like that, right? If ye fulfill the royal law according to the scriptures, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, ye do well. And we don't do that. We don't love each other. Your neighbor is your brother. Your brother is your tribe, is your people. It's your Israelites. Your neighbor isn't your neighbor. You walk outside your house. Because in this world, you have multiple different nations as your neighbor. Chiefly the Edomites or, other nations, unless you live all around nothing but Judites. But you are not neighborly to your own neighbor. Okay? So the so-called black man hates each other, kill, rob, steal from each other, poison each other. We do everything horrible to our neighbor, and our neighbor is our brother. Okay, it's ourselves, right? I'm gonna just read a little more of this. So if ye fulfill the royal law, right, which is the scripture gave us from Moses, right, from the Lord to Moses to us, according to the scriptures, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, ye do well. But if ye have respect to persons, ye commit sin and are convinced of the law as transgressors. And that's what we have become transgressors of the law, because we went against the law. We go against the law of Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, now what was my other scripture? I think I said I wanted to get 1 Timothy's. I think it was 6 and 18. Let's see, let me get here. I'm trying to get through this because I know this video gonna cut off pretty quick. 1 Timothy's 6 and I think it's 18. Yep. I'm gonna start at 17. Charge them, 1 Timothy 6 and 17. Charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches. And you know what? That scripture, I got another video I want to do, because matter of fact, that scripture is really good for another video I want to do. So I'm not even gonna speak on it. I'm gonna just do the video. It's in the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, Salaki, we'll go back to it. Charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, right? Don't, just because you got a lot and you got money, you got big cars, houses, don't be like these niggas, right? Nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living power Yahweh Bashim Shai, who have given us richly all things that to enjoy. Okay, that they do good, that they be rich in good works, ready to distribute, willing to communicate. See, and that's not what we're ready to do, right? But the true children of Israel, the true people, the true Israelites, that they'll do, right? Well, I think my other one was Luke 12, I think. What's it, Luke 12, and I think it was 21, right quick. Let me get there. Give me a second. Luke 12, and I think it was about 21. So, then I'm going to play this video, and I'm going to cut it off. I just want to go through a couple scriptures, I'm going to play this video. Luke 12, and I think it's about 21. I'll start at 20. I'm going to start about Luke 12 and about 16. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentiful. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? Because I have no more room where to bestow my fruits. And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And when scripture I just read before was I just went into what was I, First Timothy's, it tells you, hey, be you your community. So if you got if you have an abundance, you take what you need, good as you, and you dole it out to your people, to your folks. You don't let your people rot while you got a ton of goods. You know what I'm saying? See, when you're a neighbor, and that's what America is. America is a filthy, selfish nation, right? Of people all around. They, they hoard all the riches for themselves, and they don't give to their neighbors. Their neighbors be poor. That's why you see the poor on the street. You see the poor in hunger, because the scriptures teach you to, when it's your neighbor, which is your tribes, your people, rather, even if they're not your exact tribe, but they're your people, they're Israel, Yasha, we're supposed to feed the poor. We're supposed to feed the hungry. We're supposed to feed the rich. We're supposed to, not the rich, the poor, the downtrodden. We're supposed to take care of them. We're supposed to make sure that they're in a good place. If you got 4 houses, right, and a family that's in need of a house, you need to take that house and give it to that family. But that's what you do when you're Israel, when you're Yasharala. If you got land and you building houses on the land, you need to build some houses, and you need to put families in there when it's your people. That's the way we're supposed to be, but we don't work that way, when we have those things, okay? So, but the rich man, which we do, we follow the ways and the customs of the Edomites. We follow their customs, and we don't do it, okay? So following the Esau custom, they're selfish. They keep everything to themselves, for themselves. They build up their riches for themselves, for their, just for their side of their family. And they'll leave the rest of the side of their own people starving, broke, busted, and disgusted. And they don't give a fuck, But that's not the way the true Israelites work. Okay, like Amalek. Amalek care more about the Amalek side, and he'll leave the rest of their Edomite people broke, busted, and disgusted. They don't care if they're on the streets with nothing. Veterans go to war for them, go to war, die, get maimed, come back with no legs, no arms, come back can't see, can't hear, come back no eyeballs, come back all kind of fucked up, bladder hanging out their system, can't shit no more, can't piss no more, dick rod got cut off. Come back all kind of different ways, and yet they throw them away. They don't give a shit about them. They throw them away like they're nothing. They just yesterday's trash, and that's how they do their own people. So how much more they gonna do us? Okay, so back to the scriptures. 19, and I will say to my soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But Yahweh Shai said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasures for himself and is not rich toward Yahweh Bashim Shai. See, the Israelites is not rich towards this world. The true Israelites, right? The true Israelites, the 144,000, let me say, the hopeful elect of Israel, Yasharallah, because you have rich of our people now today. But the hopeful elect of our people they probably most likely not have that many riches. Maybe they're struggling. Maybe maybe they're okay. They're just, living. They're well off. They're good enough, but they're not, in the position of, super rich and super wealthy and multi-millions and billions of dollars and all this crazy shit, and got a bank account that you look in and you got $700,000 in your bank account, and you're on your way to making millions, or most likely you probably living check to check. You probably struggling through. You're getting through, you're getting by. But you're rich in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Al Shai. Your spirit is so strong. Your spirit is so high and so heavy. It doesn't matter the physical side of the money. It's the spiritual side of your money, and that's the love and peace and power of Yahweh Shem Al Shai. Okay, so we lay up our treasures in heaven. Right? That's why the Lord say, lay up your treasures where moth will doeth not corrupt, because moth can corrupt and rot and erode and dissipate here on this earth. These things don't last, right? We know that the fiat currency is not even real. It's failing. America's system is failing. Their economic system is failing. Their fiat current system is failing. The IOUs are failing, right? That's why they're having such a big fight with Russia and Iran and all these different China. Because why? Because their system is collapsing. Because the gold is taking over, and then they want to keep their fiat currency going. They want to keep their monopoly money going, where they can keep inflation going higher and charging you for a fucking hamburger that back in the day cost what, 10 cents, 15, 20, 30 cents back in the 30s and 40s and 20s, to now that same exact burger that you get from a fucking store costs you for a whole fucking meal $16 just for a fucking burger, fry, and a fucking drink. So, the same meal that you could have got back in the day for $1, for $3, $2. When you go back even in the 90s, shit, you can get a whole fucking meal for $5. $6, $7. You can get a whole fucking meal. Now that $6, $7 turned into $15 for two people. You paying $34, $35 a meal to go to fucking Culver's, to go to fucking Freddy's, or that's not even, and you go to McDonald's, Burger King, you paying $12, $14, $15 a minute. It's the same fucking thing. For the same thing that you paid 20 years ago, right? You've doubled, almost tripled in price, but not in value, because you're getting the same old fuckery shit. It's just pollution. You paying even more for it now, right? So, so I just wanted to play this video, and I'm gonna close out.
And Kanye got cancelled.
Once upon a time, all of us was in chains. You can't compare the Holocaust to what happened to slaves.
Never would.
Them concentration camps wasn't even in the States. Somehow they still getting reparations to this day.
That's fucked up.
Them white folks is using black folks to make them richer. Bible said Jesus people had descriptions of a nigga. So miss me with this God's white stuff. Because we the original Jews and they not like us. You're not even a Jew. You're not even a Jew. You Jewish. Not even a Jew. You Jewish. I just want to vent. You see, the key word in Jewish is ish. Means to some extent. So don't repent. Or find your whole family with it. Now you got to get your mother, father, uncle, and your anti-Semitics. If all your people if all your people this evil, I don't knock Hitler, bro. Because y'all built the first slave ships. After y'all got niggas' trust. So I brought German protection. Call the cops if you want. Let's not see what side you on when the swastika sucks.
If you know this is...
So, hey, look. Hey, he said it all, man. So with that said, I'm Yaquab from YSO, Yahweh Shai Sanctified Ones, Yaquab, however you want to say it. I say Yaquab, sometimes I say Yaquab. But, hey, call Lord Yahweh Shema Shai Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostle, elders, great millstone, rule and teach well. Peace, salutation to all y'all in four corners of the earth. Shalom, keep struggling through it, keep fighting through it, keep pushing through it. Have patience, right? Patience is to suffer. Remember that. Patience is to suffer. Shalom and above the ball.
The truth, comment facts. just know that your friends are